Thank you for joining us at Miniature Wargaming Labs. Today we will be going through our Age of Sigmar Dominion box set and building the following model, the Knight-Arcanum. So they're spellcaster here. So, and you go to your index of sprues here. What you're going to do is when you go through your box, it's going to be a two-part sprue. So there's going to be an orc model here and the Knight-Arcanum. And that is, so C and D. So we want the C portion here. So to make it easier to use, we'll go ahead and cut this off. And we're going to need a 40mm base. So when you get your bag of bases, it's got two holes in it. And it sits right on the 40mm, if you have any doubt. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to flip to our instructional page. You'll notice that I am working on a baking sheet, and this is for when I drop bits, they'll hit the sheet and hit the lip and not roll onto the floor where they become harder to find. Next, I'm going to get some plastic glue. We're going to have some super glue. Going to have a sharp X-Acto blade, make sure it's sharp, and metal file. And all importantly, sharp metal clippers, preferably made in Germany. And then little tweezers if we get a little tiny piece, which I don't think will be necessary, but I also use as a vise to squeeze some of these together. Alright, to get started, what we're going to do is we're going to clip out our bits. We're going to do them all at once, and we're going to lay them out. So the idea is we're going to take our clippers. You see I have a flat edge and a concave part of the blade. We're going to take the flat edge. We're going to clip as tight to the model as we can. Now when doing these, make sure you're actually clipping the model and not the pins that go into place. So once we have that piece clipped out, so this is C1, we're going to lay it down there so we don't lose it. And we'll just keep going around, clipping out all the little pieces and laying them out. So we see what we have here. Here's an example. So that's a push pin. Don't cut the pin. There we go. Now we've clipped out all the bits of our Knight-Arcanum. You can see they're all in their spots on the instruction. Since the page is a little bent, they're rolling around there. Alright, what we're going to do is now clean the model. So where the sprue tied into the model, you'll see these little rough nubbins. Those can affect the fit. In some cases, other cases they'll show up in the paint job. So I like to just trim those down and get a smoother look. And then when I trim off the nubbins, you don't have to do this, but I do. I take my metal file and I smooth it down. And what you'll notice is sometimes you'll find a line that connects all these little nubs going around the model. That's the mold line, and we can use our metal file to get rid of it, because you really don't want a linear line running through your models like a cloth tabard. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and clean all these pieces, set them back down, and then we'll start assembly. Now all the bits have been cleaned and we're ready for assembly. So go ahead and grab these two here. And what I'm doing is I'm just doing a dry fit, making sure I know where it wants to go. Okay, so I don't put plastic glue in the pinhole. They're normally so tightly manufactured that the model won't fit all the way in the pinhole. Okay. And just so I don't push on it in the wrong way and break it, I use my little tweezers as a little pin vise. There we go. Get a nice tight fit there. Alright, the next one is we'll do the head. So I'll do underneath it and around the pinhole. That's why I have a little tray. Excellent. So next is, we'll do the leg. Alright, so this is what kind of nonsense is that? Alright, so this goes here. Oh, okay. It's got two pinholes in it. Alright, so I want the back pinhole. There we go. Takes a second to figure out which way it wants to go. Right, now we can do the chest plate. Okay. And something for this, what I'm going to do is to tie two bands together. I'm going to run around the edges. To kind of like make it merge with the cloth, since plastic glue will melt the plastic. Try to get back in here. I'm going to run a little bead of plastic glue right here, just so it fills in that line. Alright, next we have the arm. So her right arm, so around the post. Right into place. We have her left pauldron. See if we can guess which side's up. Alright. We'll have the tome on her hip. Remember, around the post. And so the book's actually going to fit flush against there. Jesus. He pushed a little too hard on that one. Almost ripped it off. A careful balance between firmness and ripping this thing apart. Alright, now here's the fun bit. Let's get this sword into place. So I gotta feed it down through there. Alright. That one actually sat pretty nicely. Okay, so I'm going to put glue on her heels here, all over her foot. It'll sink her into place. Come on. There we go. Now, for the base, I like to do super glue. We'll run this around the edge. There's no sighting issues here. You know, it's only going to fit one way to these two pegs. We'll squeeze down. Excellent. Model turned out pretty well. Alright, there's our Knight-Arcanum. Thank you for joining us at Miniature Wargaming Labs, and we'll see you next time.